Greetings enthusiasts, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Rebel Lion of the Electron Rebels, the Grand Admiral, and this is Bike Talk, the personal vlog of an enthusiast. Today, we talk motors. We're going to talk the difference between an electric hub motor and a mid-drive motor. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, for those of you who are new to the e-bike industry, currently there are two types of electric motors. Each motor has a different advantage, and it all depends on the need of the rider. Here's a brief breakdown of the two. Number one, the mid-drive motor. The mid-drive motor is housed in the center of the frame of a bicycle. It transfers power from the center to the rear wheel using the bicycle's chain drive. Number two, the hub motor. The hub motor is incorporated into the hub of a wheel and drives from the axle directly. Mid-drive motors are known for their high performance and torque when compared to hub motors. These motors can climb steep hills at its lowest gears, and that's because it's driven by the crank, not by the wheel. Being that it's driven by the crank multiplies the power when assisted with the existing gears. This also allows and enables more range. These are also very lightweight motors compared to the hub, starting at around 5 pounds. Mid-drives are hard on the drive system. Cheap chains are not recommended. Instead, you'd want to go with a belt drive. All the moving parts on a mid-drive are subject to failure. Since the motor is mounted directly to the center of the frame, it can also be more expensive to replace. It's just not as simple as swapping out a hub motor. The big advantage of the hub motor is that there's little to no maintenance. All the components are housed inside of a motor casing, leaving no components exposed needing to be maintained. Because the hub motor and the pedal assist systems are completely independent of one another, you could lose power potentially on the battery needing the throttle and still get home using the pedal assist. Hub drives are much less expensive than mid drives, and that's because hub drives are mass produced by the millions and have been for over a decade. That makes it much less expensive to buy. There are two types of hub motors, and we won't get into great detail in this episode, but here's a brief breakdown of the two. The geared hub. The geared hub has an interplanetary gear and is a high RPM motor. The gearless hub has no gearing, but directly connects the axle to a low RPM motor. Almost all hubs only allow for a single gear. Single gears are fine for flat terrain, but not on hills and inclines. For that, higher torque would be preferable. Hubs are usually heavier than mid-drive motors, and that can be very hard on suspension bikes. Hubs can also be more limiting when it comes to wheel components, such as rims, tires, and cassettes. I personally ran into that problem when I wanted to change my 7-gear cassette over for a single gear. Didn't happen the way I wanted to, only because there are no universal parts for these kits. If you want to change parts, you have to refer back to the manufacturer. Tire changing is much more difficult on an electric bike. When you have to change a tire, there are still the wires connected to the frame. With that, you're struggling a little bit with a heavy tire that is still attached to a frame to change out an inner tube. You have to be very crafty with this. These are all things to consider, but the best motor is the one that's most comfortable for you. I love my hub motor. How about you? Which one do you like?
If you'd like to be part of our purpose, mission, and our journey, please consider becoming part of the Electron Rebels Bike Club. You can find links to the club in the description below. Ride easy.